Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose, and it is great to see you here this morning. So it's going to be that kind of a Sunday. All righty, here we go. Peace like a river. Let's stand up together. Let us continue to breathe deeply. To be still, to know. To allow ourselves to move ever into the spaciousness of that one perfection that sometimes shows itself in strange disguises. But at the core of our existence and at the essence of our being, there is this beautiful place that embraces the darkness and the light, that is the source of all, that is who we are. And so let us rest in that and know that as we listen to the words of our sacred reading provided to us today by Joe Obragon.
A Salutation to the Dawn by Shelly, a Sanskrit writer who lived 4,000 years ago. And it is just appropriate for us today. And so I invite you to take it all in and embody these words. Look well to this day, for it is life. In its brief course lies all the verities and the realities of your existence. The bliss of growth and the glory of action and the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow it's only a vision. But today well lived, will make every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is the salutation of your dawn, your life. Have a wonderful day.
And so it is. If people feel moved to clap, perhaps we can just click our fingers like this. Give Joe some love. Staying in this beautiful space, recognizing that it is our day, that this is the day that God hath made, and that we are in it. That we are in it in all of our weirdness, and all of our wonder, in all of our awe, in all of our expression, in all of our joy, in all of our sorrow. It is all the I Am presence. So let us remember that and connect to that and know it as our very life. As we sing together, I am remembering. I rest in the stillness. I believe in the stillness. I am the stillness, for it is always with me. Let us cherish the stillness and the inner knowing of I am as we breathe in deeply. And then exhale, gently opening our eyes in love with what is, as it is, and so it is.
Softly and tenderly, Spirit is calling to you and to me. See on the portals there, waiting and watching for you and for me. Come home, come home, you who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Spirit is calling. Calling, oh children, come home. Come home, come home, you who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Spirit is calling, calling, oh children, come home.
So before we move into our speakers today, I want to tell you a little bit about Testimonial Sunday, because I realize that there are probably some new people here that are not familiar with this tradition that we practice at this spiritual center. And every couple of months or so, I decide to have a Testimonial Sunday. The reason I do this is that one of the best parts of my job here as the senior minister of this center is that I get to hear how individuals in this church have experienced this philosophy and how this philosophy has made a difference in their lives. And so I thought, wouldn't it be nice for the congregation at large to be able to hear some of that information on a regular basis? And so the concept of Testimonial Sunday was born. It's an old concept. It's been around for ages, but we do it our own way here. So every few months or so, I'll invite a couple of people through meditation to come and share their stories so that you too may be inspired, so that you too can hear how beautifully these principles work in people's lives, and so that you can be inspired and open your heart to that beautiful, wonderful life that is waiting for you. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you the names of our testifiers today. The first one is Bill Seale, who is a practitioner. The second one is Shelly, Ehler, who is the director of our Youth and Family Program. We're going to start with Bill Seale, so let's give him a lot of love as he comes to the stage.
Good morning. How grateful I am to be here today. My heart is full, and it's been an emotional week. I want to say thank you to Reverend Bonnie for this opportunity. I am truly humbled by it to share this platform with some spiritual giants that I look up to. When I received, well, let me tell you a little bit, back up just a second. I just got back from Washington, D.C. on a highway history tour with my cousin Troy Sweet and about a dozen sixth graders and some of their parents and some other relatives of mine. And I'll connect that a little bit later and tell you how important and how powerful that trip was for me. A few weeks ago, I received an email from Reverend Bonnie in regards to speaking today. And immediately my response was absolutely yes. And I'll share that with you because one of the powerful lessons I've learned since I've been here since 1999 was when I have said yes to Spirit, I'm expanded, I'm empowered, I'm uplifted, and I'm being healed at the same time. And along that path, I've met many, many wonderful people. And I don't stand up here alone by any means. I'm totally supported by Spirit, my beautiful family, who I love dearly. The Practitioner Corps, who I'm grateful to be a part of. And each one of you have assisted me along the way in my healing path since I've been here. And I can assure you, when I first arrived here, I didn't come and say yes. My wife was, after we moved here from Central California, my wife began searching for a spiritual community. But I was on spiritual burnout. And when my wife told me about this center, I said no. And eventually, through her prodding and persuasion, she got me to attend. And I would attend every so often, not very often, but I did. And as soon as the sermon was over, I had my track shoes on and I bolted for that door. Trust me, that was the truth. About the fourth visit, though, however, she had the audacity to ask me to go back to Martha's Hall and join others for social hall. I can just say it wasn't a pleasant experience at first. I hung out on the edges, but people did come up to me and greet me. But then she brought this sweet, kind gentleman who handed me a flyer for a men's group retreat. And he made such an impression on me. I didn't say yes then, but I did a few days later. And his name was Walt Hayes. Absolutely. And he made such an impression on others. Reverend Bonnie called every gentleman here in this church for the first couple months after she arrived here, Walt. And that's the truth. I went to that retreat and I bonded with some very spiritually evolved men. But they were goofy as heck and I identified with that. And so I joined the men's group. And there was a workshop that I attended. And in that workshop by John Bigelow, I met two very important people, Sally and Kevin. You're going to have to excuse me. This is going to be an emotional day for me. And then I began taking classes because I said yes to Spirit. And I took my first class, many of you have already taken, it's Foundations, a wonderful class. And it was at the conclusion of that class, I decided to choose to practice or become a practitioner. And someone said, you need to go see our church secretary, Jaime Taylor. She needs to talk to you. So I did, and she sat me down, and in her wisdom, she said to me, Bill, this philosophy is not for wimps. It will bring you to a place where you must take responsibility for your life. Whoa. Me take responsibility for my life? I came from victim consciousness. I truly did, and you'll understand in a few moments as I share that. I still wanted to pursue that dream of being a practitioner, and I knew she nailed it on the head. And deep within my soul, I made an agreement with God I would do my very best by saying yes. I took a year off of hiatus of taking classes because my wife and I wanted to start taking classes together. And for every class we took in preparation for practitioner training, through practitioner training, we joined it together. And it really bonded and cemented our relationship in a deeper, more meaningful way. And I am forever grateful for that. And to come full circle, even though they're not here today, my daughter, or our daughter, Jennifer, is about to embark on a journey of becoming a practitioner herself. She goes before the oral boards next month, I guess, along with the two other J's. And I am so proud of her, as well as her mother is. So the real work didn't begin until after I became a practitioner. As all practitioners know, that's when the real work begins. And I stand here not alone, but on the shoulders of others. And I must give thanks to some of those people. And if I'm remiss in not naming you, you're in my heart anyway. But Reverend Paula, who was the minister here when I first started, definitely Reverend Bonnie, David Helm, Martin Hernandez, Walt Hayes, Jim Doyle, Mike Templin, Carol Lotz, Doreen Palermo, Linda Dye, and Walt Hayes. These are just a few of those that I stand on their shoulders this morning, empowered, and I am so grateful for their presence in my life. And I would be remiss in sharing my two mentors, Fred and Karen Mondragon. That's right, Freddie. And the practitioner corps as a whole. We formed such a unique bond. We love praying for you. And when Reverend Bonnie has her Tazay chants, there's a portion of it says, your prayer is our prayer. We take that to heart. I would like to talk to you about my healing path and what this philosophy has done for me when I answer the call of yes. As I shared with you earlier, I came from victim consciousness, and I had more issues than Sports Illustrated. I did. Ask my wife. And the first one I want to talk about is overcoming an overly critical and abusive father. If he were alive today, though, I could go right up to him and give him a hug and tell him how much I love him. Because he empowered me through his work ethic, his integrity, and his honesty. And even though he did those things to me many, many years ago, I can look at him and say, you did your very best. And I am grateful for my father. The next one is a very sensitive subject, so I'm not going to get into details, but I'm going to tell you how the healing occurred, and it revolves around sexual abuse. As a practitioner in training, and as a practitioner, I volunteered with others in this spiritual community to go into prisons to work with prisoners, both men and women. A very powerful experience. And I can stand here and tell you I've stood across from mass murderers, rapists, common criminals, and a host of other crimes that they had committed. And I can promise you this, we never held them in judgment. We held them in love. And to see these prisoners melt and weep for the first time to let go of that pain was very empowering. And today, I can tell you, in this one prison that I attended with others, that some of them are here in this room today, at Lovelock, Nevada, where they house the sexual predators for Nevada. Out of 125 prisoners, 45 volunteers, I stood up before that group and was able to tell someone else what that abuse looked like in my life and how it affected me. But I can share with you today that energy is not there anymore. It's in my rearview mirror, and it's just a memory. And for that was because I said yes. And I encourage each and every one of you here to take classes to say when that call is made to you. When that happens, I encourage you to say yes, because Spirit is always, always with you during this path. As I shared with you earlier in the opening of my talk, I had just recently come back from Washington, D.C., and Virginia, Colonial Williamsburg, and Charlottesville to see Thomas Jefferson's Monticello home. I attended this with my cousin Troy Sweet in his 6th grade class and parents and family, as I said. And for 44 years, I've held on to a lot of pain. I'm a Vietnam veteran medic, and I needed to go home to that wall on the Vietnam Memorial and say goodbye to some friends. And as I approached that wall, my heart was beating like a drum, because I knew this was not going to be easy. To say goodbye to my friend Robert Frakes, I called him Bobby, and Larry Jenkins, to say goodbye to him. I found Robert first on the wall, And I can tell you this, when I touched my hand to the wall, I felt the powerful energy of those who had passed before me. And I fell to my knees and I wept for, seems like forever. But when I stood up, that weight that I had carried for many years on my back was gone. I turned around and every one of those little sixth graders came up and gave me a hug. Every one of those relatives that were there came up and gave me a hug. And the parents. And that experience bonded us, cemented us for friends forever. And it just didn't stop there. When I was at the Iwo Jima parade, sunset parade, I had the privilege and honor of a man who had won the Medal of Honor come up to me and welcome me home. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. As I said, you are my spiritual community. You are my family. And we are all connected by God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it. That's an undeniable truth. And I felt that empowering spirit with all my friends and family when I came home from my experience at the wall. And I am so grateful for your support. I am so grateful for my family, my friends, and I'm going to tell you, there are people in this crowd that are closer to me than my own flesh and blood. Whether you're a brother from another mother or a sister from another mister, you know who you are. And with that, I am so eternally grateful. I thank you, Steve, for being here. And I say thank you to each and every one of you. And what you're about to hear from Shelly is going to be so inspiring and so empowering. You'll be glad you attended today. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. Good morning. Some of you may have wondered over the last few months as you've seen me come up here to give the children's message, where did she come from? I haven't really been here that long. My family and I moved here from Orange County a year ago in March, and I started coming to the center in May. And, you know, it's often said that through suffering is a portal to spiritual awakening. And that sometimes when life just shakes you so hard that you crack, that through that opening and through that crack, a light begins to shine. A light that wakes you up, and a light that begins to guide you towards your passion and your purpose. And that's what happened to me. And I'm quite sure that here in this spiritual center, it's happened to many of you as well. So that's where I'd like to begin. In 2007, when the economic recession hit the United States, my husband and I owned a business that was not recession-proof. And in a very short time, we lost our business, we lost our home, we lost ourselves. We lost our hope. We lost our way. And it was devastating. I've never felt like such a failure. And in my moment of deepest despair, when I just couldn't handle it one more second and I was falling to pieces on my bathroom floor, I remember shouting out that there's no way there could be a God. What a joke. And I'd spent all this time praying and believing, and for what? Nothing was getting better. It only got worse. And I'll never forget, this feeling of peace came over me, and stillness, like I'd never felt before. And I felt this knowing within come and say, Shelly, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. This may not look like you think it's going to, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. There are no mistakes. There's a better plan, and you have a bigger purpose. Say yes. You'll see. I had no idea what that meant. But not long after that, I remember taking my sons to the pool for a swim. And when it was time to leave and they wanted to change into their dry clothes, my oldest son asked me to wrap a towel around him so that he could change in privacy. So while I was holding his towel and he was changing his clothes, my little guy wanted me to hold his towel. And I couldn't hold two towels at the same time. And he started getting impatient and, Mommy, hold my towel. And I couldn't hold it. Mommy couldn't do it. And Mommy wanted to scream, Calgon, take me away. But it got me thinking that I wish I had something that I could put over them that would keep them covered. But I didn't have such a thing, and I'd never even seen such a thing. But that was an interesting thought. And that night at 4 a.m., my eyes shot open, and an idea surged through me like a bolt of electricity. I thought, if I took a towel and I put a slit in it, they could wear it like a poncho. It'd cover their front, it'd cover their back. It's a changing towel, it's a poncho, it's a shono. That's cute. And I jumped out of bed, I ran to my computer because surely someone must be doing this. It's so simple. But to my surprise, no one was. And I thought, how could that be? And I heard right here, because it's been waiting for you. What? I thought, me? No, not me. See, I have no money and no connections and no idea what I'm doing. But I heard right here, none of that matters. You dream it and you believe it, Shelly. You give me the how. That's the easy part. So many people never start because they're stuck in the how. So you take one step in faith and your next step will appear. And so I did. And so it was. And everything was given to me exactly when I needed it. I'd go towel shopping, and towels were 50% off that day. I needed supplies, and coupons to Joann's would be in my mailbox. I bartered with friends for services. I even traded furniture in my home and custom drapes to an attorney who lived down the street from me with her patent on this towel. And in 2 years' time, I had a product that was selling in major theme parks, such as Legoland and Six Flags Magic Mountain and Raging Waters. My towel appeared on the Today Show on a segment called Moms with Good Ideas. And from there, I was cast on ABC's hit reality show, Shark Tank. For those of you that may not know, Shark Tank is a TV show. I really was not swimming with sharks. It's a TV show where an entrepreneur can go pitch their business to a panel of investors that they call sharks looking for an investment. And in 6 seasons of that show, I am the only entrepreneur to leave there with a check in my hand. The sharks fought over me, and one of them said, I actually like you so much that I'm going to write you a check right now for exactly what you're asking for. And I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. I felt so blessed. And it was actually so unbelievable because it was. You see, what the viewing public does not know is that most of the deals that happen on that television show actually never take place, or they change quite dramatically. And that's what happened to me. The very next day after I filmed my episode, my new shark partner called to tell me not to cash that $50,000 check that she'd given me when the cameras were rolling. Ouch. And 197 days later, when my episode finally aired to over 6 million people, my product didn't even really sell that well. And I was devastated. What the hell happened? I felt like a lotto winner that didn't get paid. And once again, I found myself in pieces on that same bathroom floor. Such a failure. But once again, I heard right here, Shelly, this may not look like you think it's going to, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. There are no mistakes. There's a better plan. You have a bigger purpose. You hang in there. Say yes. You'll see. And it didn't happen overnight. But I finally figured out what that meant. See, I was so focused on how I thought it should look, and focused on what I thought I should get, that I actually missed what I did receive. The night my episode aired, my email inbox flooded with messages from people from around the world. It was overwhelming. And I read messages that said things like, "Dear Shelly, I've been dreaming of a business for 20 years, but I've been too afraid. I don't know how. But I see what you did with what you had, and if you did it, then so can I. You give me hope." Wow. "Dear Shelly, I saw you tonight. I've never watched that show before, but for some reason I'm clicking and something made me stop, and there's you, and you're me. My husband and I, we lost our home in the recession too. But you give me hope that I can get back on my feet again. God bless you." And it went on and on and on. I sat there sobbing. And it finally hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God. I wasn't on Shark Tank to sell a towel. I was on Shark Tank to sell hope. And I did. And could it be that maybe this was never about a towel, but that it was about something so much bigger and something so much better? And could it be that everything worked out perfectly, exactly as it should, that no mistakes were made, but everything happened in order to point me in the direction of my divine destiny, to spread hope and to inspire others to live their best lives? And every cell in my being says yes. So what does that mean for my life now? I kind of have an idea, to be totally honest, I'm not completely sure. I'm still figuring it out. Part of me kind of thinks, I don't think I'm supposed to know. I kind of think God wants to surprise me. And, I asked at that point, what am I supposed to do? I know my purpose, but what now? And I heard within, be. Just be, Shelly. Stop doing. Stop pushing. Just be. Learn. Listen. Pay attention. This time's for learning and for growing. Okay. How? Where? And it's almost as if I blinked my eyes and I was walking through those doors. And I sat right there the first time I came, and Reverend Bonnie spoke about the power of love. And there was so much love in that message, it filled my heart so deeply that I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I felt as if a piece of my puzzle had just snapped into place. And so I continued to come and to take classes and to be open and to listen. And this last spring, I had coffee with Jill Sarek, and I shared with her that I was looking for a job and looking for a way to serve. And she said, "What do you think about taking over my position as Director of Youth and Family?" And I said, "Yes." And now I have the opportunity to use my purpose to serve the youth of our center. And now I have the opportunity to give a children's message up here in front of you every week. See, I aspire to be an inspirational speaker. And look what I'm doing. Is that manifestation? See, 1 year ago, before I walked through those doors, this was a source of great pain and horrible disappointment in my life. And I was so sure that I was right and this was wrong. And my ego would scream of injustice. And I just could not find peace. And I just felt so stuck. But over this last year, through this beautiful teaching, this wonderful center, Reverend Bonnie's talks, working with Kim Bryson as a practitioner who's helping to mentor me, I can now look at this with perfection. I am truly grateful for this uncashed $50,000 check. And I'm grateful for the person who gave it to me. And that's been a huge shift. And in that space, I found peace. And in that peace, I continue to move towards the path of my destiny, open, ready to receive, saying yes to all that comes. And so in conclusion, I'd like to share with you a poem that I wrote a few months ago. I was in a deep meditation thinking about my life and where I was going, and this just came through me. I am open. I'm letting go. I'm trusting what I feel and know. I don't need my puzzle pieces fitting perfectly into place. It's okay not knowing why. I surrender to your grace. Nothing has been wasted. No mistakes have been made. There's times for learning and growing. The foundation's being laid. Ask and you shall receive. You know that this is true. Get quiet. Listen. You'll hear within what you should do. You can't guide your journey when you don't know where you're going. Stop trying. Believe in faith. Let go and trust in what you're knowing. Nothing before its time. You know that this is true. Relax. Breathe. Have patience. And do what you must do. In time, you'll see it all unfold. The dots will all connect. So much love in the miracle in ways you could never expect. So what do I do now? Your anxious mind will scream. Sit back. Stop thinking. Believe. Let go. Have faith and dream. Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful. All right. So let's take a moment and turn within and let us pray. Let's just take some breaths together as a community. Inhaling and exhaling. Knowing that as we all share the air and circulate the air, that we are truly joined at the heart. That we were joined before we came in here, but we are so much more aware of our connection now. Through hearing the stories of Bill and Shelly, of all of their trials and triumphs and all of their wisdom that they gleaned from this adventure called life. From hearing Joe's profound words as he read the salutation. From the fellowship, from the shared experience, from the music, from all of it. All of it reunites us in the knowing, reconnects us to the knowing that there truly is only one life. That life is the life of pure awareness. And that life is my life right here and right now. That life is your life right here and right now. That life is our life. And so I center my heart into the knowing that that is all that I am. I am purely God. I am purely awareness. I am purely love. And so I will speak in the first person using the sacred I am, knowing that the I am refers to all of us, because in all of us there is only one of us. Together let us know, I am abundant. I am safe. I am healthy. I am wholeness. I am omnipresence. I am grace. I am joy. I am peace. I am love. I am whatever I am conscious of being. So right now I turn my consciousness, I use my will to cultivate the willingness to accept and embrace and embody all of the beauty that I am. I take this acceptance into my heart and use it in the world in wise, thoughtful, and wonderful ways, ways that enhance the world, even if I can't see the results. I practice my love, my kindness, my I am nature in every second, in every moment, in every interaction, in every job, in every chore, in every joy, in every sorrow. I know who I am. And so it is done. And I give thanks for it, because it is already complete in the mind of God. I know that perfect healing has taken place here in this beautiful center this morning as the wholeness of being has been revealed. The wholeness that encompasses everything, both the darkness and the light. The wholeness that is all that is. I am so grateful for this wholeness, so grateful for this teaching, so grateful for this spiritual center and for everyone in it, both seen and unseen. I am grateful for all paths to God, and I bless all of them. Churches, synagogues, mosques, ashrams. I bless fundamentalists and atheists, for I know that everyone is a blessing. And with a heart that is so filled with blessedness and so filled with the almighty good that is ours today, right now, I say thank you, Spirit, thank you, God, and I release these words to the mystery. And together we say, and so it is. I am so... Let's give our whole service team a big, big round of applause. All of them. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Please join us for refreshments in Stanley's Hall afterwards. And if you're new, talk to Bill Seale. I'll show you. That's right. Please repeat after me. I am held in Spirit's holiness. Divinely guided by wisdom, courage, and love. I am always connected. I see God in everything. I create joy on earth as I share my blessings. Thank you for my life. And so it is.
Just continuing in the same vein, I may be singing I am, but this is the universal I am presence that I'm singing about. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So, come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till I can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity.